Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and salutations. It's me, Sal, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. And this is Two Cents Toys, as the name might imply. But it's been a while. It's been probably 8 months or something crazy since the last episode of The Way I Played. But we're on episode 10 of The Way I Played, and tonight I'm joined by one Drew G.
Hello.
Making his YouTube debut. So, you know him from the comment section and the live streams and everything else. And I'm kind of dumb. I didn't realize that we'd been friends on Facebook for a while because I was like trying to look for you in Messenger to send you the links and everything. I'm like, where is he? So I went on Instagram and then I kept typing in like Drew, and then because your name's not Drew G everywhere.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it dawned on me. I was like, oh, duh. Same
That's
person.
my internet name.
That's right.
Hey, Keith.
So we are tonight. It's Friday, which is strange, kind of. But we're joined by M Vargo 97. He says hello, everyone, and then we have Drew G saying hello, whoever that is. We've got Gojatron, Keith Knight, Jeremy Jernigan sends in the first super chat. Thanks,
KJ.
looking forward to this. Have a great stream, Jeremy. You were close. I was like, if I couldn't get Drew G, I was gonna try and get someone else, and then if they couldn't come, then I was gonna invite you. So no. Eventually, I'll have Jeremy Jernigan on here to do one of these. There's a few people I'd like to have on here, but I'm always, despite this being my favorite thing to do on the channel, I forget that it's a thing sometimes, and then I'll be like, that's why I went almost 8 months without doing one. So,
yeah, it's fun to watch. I mean, like everyone in the chat right now, I see a notification come on my phone. I'm like, either I'm like at work and I'm going, crap, I'm gonna have to watch this later, or if I get that chance to sit down and watch it live and just be a part of it, it's so much fun, and getting to talk with everyone, familiar faces in the chat.
absolutely,
it's very cool.
It's fun for me because I always like to, because as the title implies, I like to hear how people played with their toys growing up, because it's like we all had the same kind of, I wouldn't say shared experiences, but there's always like, we all knew that one kid who just like treated his toys like perishable goods, just destroyed them all the time.
Oh yeah, the SIDS.
Right. And then there was the kid who was like, wouldn't move the figure. They were just kind of like hold them and make them talk, but they would like use their imagination because they didn't want to like move them and stuff. And
don't want to break them.
Right. That's I know we're starting off on a tangent already, but it's like there was this kid that I used to play with. We played with Dragon Ball Z toys, and these were just two POA, like their arms moved, and that was pretty much it. And I would like play with them, but I wouldn't make them make contact because I didn't want like paint transfer and rub and all that kind of stuff. I wanted them to look like the character, and his just looked like he'd hit him with a marker or something. They just scuffed paint everywhere, like, because a lot of them wear these kind of like black and blue spandex suits, and it'd be like smears of red all over them from different paint. He just smashed them together like they were LJN wrestlers or something.
See, that's the way I am now with toys. I'm like, don't touch them, but pretend. But when I was a kid, no, those things I would smash them, throw them across the room, especially when I had guys like these. Ooh, I just dropped some little wrestlers. I know this one's new. Where's the camera? There we are. Newer, but like, I'd have him throw him across the room, or I'd have Hulk Hogan smash him. So yeah, I played with these kind of things all the time.
Right. And that's kind of how those were designed. Like that was the whole gimmick behind those. Like, and doing research for Iconicon, like compiling all these commercials, I saw the commercial for those figures. They were just like, $1 million man like does something, and you see the figure go flying across the ring, and which is kind of smart for them to do that because they're like, if we tell these kids this is what you're supposed to do when they break them, they just go buy a new one.
Yeah, I always wanted one of those Evel Knievel motorcycles. Never had one. It was after me, or before, I guess before me. But I mean, I had the the Rev Up, the I can't think of it, the Motu stuff, that
The Ripper, or whatever it's called.
The Ripper, yes, thank you, the green one.
Yep.
I used to have that thing jumping everything.
Nice. The closest thing I had a biker mouse from Mars. I had one of those figures, whatever the singular of that would be.
My brother had all three of those on the motorcycles, and I would secretly play with them because I was a young teen at that time. But I thought they were the coolest thing. I wish I still had them.
I have two out of the three. I've got the
laser pants,
mouse, and I've got the gray one with the robot arm. I'm missing the brown mouse. I have a Bendham of that one, but the one I had, he was like anchored onto the motorcycle, like you couldn't take him off, and he had a ripcord.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah,
and I had
what you're talking
about. Batman from the animated series. They did the same thing.
Yep, remember that one too. Yeah, almost when we were at that. Oh God, with the second chance toys, they had the biker mic. They had like one or two of them, and I was like so tempted to pick it up, but I'd already had a stash. I was getting up there in price, especially after Joe Fest. I was like,
yeah, I think all back. I'm pretty sure all of us had a little like cachet behind the counter, like just make a pile for me. Like, I know you and I were running back and forth, like, do you have this one yet? Do you have this one yet? With like Toy Biz and
yeah, I got
like the Image Comics character.
Iron Man and Punisher. In fact, I think you found the Punisher for me.
Maybe, I don't know. I found a lot. Like I had to go back on Instagram and look at everything I picked up. So it was a double-edged sword. It was money I really didn't want to spend, but at the same time I was like, these people were gracious enough to open up on a day off for us so they could host this event. I need to make it worth their time because they had all hands on deck for it. And I was like, these people have to get paid and they have to pay for the lights. And
those people were some of the nicest people in a store I've ever met. They were just, I mean, they were like, I couldn't tell who was working and who was actually just hanging out with the group and having conversations until they go behind the counter. I was like, oh, you work here? Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I went back up there a week later because I had something I had to do up there, and I was with my wife, and we were like, I got to go back. So I ended up going back there and getting, I want to say, Yosagi Jimbo Ninja Turtle figure. Jimbo. And my first, literally the first ever Sergeant Slaughter because I never had Sergeant Slaughter as a kid from the G.I. Joe line. So I think it's the mail-away one.
Nice.
I don't know. It's on Instagram. I took a picture of it. But I was like, I got to have it. Sergeant Slaughter. I got the Sergeant Slaughter collection back here. Now I got to have a G.I. Joe one. So now he's down at the bottom.
Nice.
But yeah.
We also got Scott Hughes, Fuller's Figures. Who's this guy?
Yeah, laser pants?
Laser pantaloons.
Pants with lasers?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Samuel Edwards, Action Pop Dad, and Bobby L. Collins, who, for those that don't know, runs the Electric Football Hero on YouTube. Great channel.
Very cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
I see him in the comments all the time, but I didn't know.
Yep. Great
cool.
channel.
Keith Knight, Embargo, all the names I recognize.
He says he's here with pants on. He's driving.
That's good.
Well, we won't tell the insurance company.
That's good.
So, but yeah, no. For those that live in the area around Second Chance Toys, can't recommend them enough. They got a whole slew of things, like stuff that like just anything you can really think of. They probably have at least a couple things from every IP you can think of, and all of it's priced extremely fairly.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Next time I go, I'm definitely going back buy some more. So it's probably good I live 2 hours away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't comment and drive. I like that.
That's right. Don't comment and drive.
If you're gonna comment, super chat.
That's right. At least make it worth it. He says he's made a horrible. What? Did you get milk or something? It is hot outside. Milk was a bad choice. All right. So we have a kind of a format or a formula to kind of run this show, as you might say, just in regards to like normal questions that always get asked. And there's always, evolutions of questions, or they change, or people in the comments come up with a better choice, or things like that.
Nah.
But I would be remiss before we start anything else. So for those that don't know, I helped Bobby make a video. It was like his office collection tour kind of thing. And we were going through, like I was filming it and we were talking about everything in these D12 cases that he had. And there was a Terminator on top. And he's like, did you have this? I was like, no. But what I did have, and I'd spent years looking for it, because it was like an 8 or 10 inch Terminator. And you just type that into eBay, and the only thing that pops up is the talking one. That's it. And I was like, maybe I made this up. Maybe this thing didn't actually exist. And from that, Drew G was like, I know what that is. And he sent me a message. And I mean, he's in my bedroom, but I could go get him if I need to.
The toy, not me.
That's right. That's right. He's not in my bedroom. I wish my bedroom looked like that, but it doesn't. But it's just like a 2 POA Terminator that came packaged with like, I think the VHS release or something.
Yeah, you said you painted or got food coloring or something on it.
Cherry Jello.
That's
in his abdomen, because his chest is all tore open, so you can see the endoskeleton.
Right.
And I put cherry Jello in there to make it look like blood, and it dried, and I couldn't get it out. And
yeah,
Drew was like, "You knew exactly what that was." You're just like, "Oh yeah, it's this," and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like I spent like years looking for it. So,
yeah. I went on to a website called Figure Realm. They have like checklists. It's not always complete, but they do pretty well. Someone on there has added Action Force, so you can see most of Action Force on there now, or the new Valaverse Action Force.
nice.
But I mean, I'll go on there and look sometimes. I've thought about taking better pictures and sending it to them so they can upload them. So because they need like some better images in some cases, but it seems like a fun site to go to, just to kind of checklist off your what you have and what you don't.
Mm-hmm. That seems like
that's how I found that I looked on there, and then I looked on eBay and said, hey, they have a listing if you want it.
And I did. I'm pretty sure I bought that exact listing.
I saw one that they actually had the red paint someone had put on there, and I thought that was the actual one you had, but then you said it was the food.
Jello.
So,
yeah,
maybe not.
Does that count as customizing? I don't think it does, but no. All right, I just realized one of my stickers is falling off. No, my desk is littered with stickers that people send me, and it was starting to peel. So
I got them on my door over here, and then my TV right here. I have a 3PO podcast, Reclaimers Vintage Toys, Infinity, 2 cents toys over there.
Oh, you got the hubcap, as I call it.
The big one you had in the bag.
Yeah.
I
thought when I ordered it,
need a retro blasting one.
Yeah, I don't think I have a retro blasted sticker.
Yeah, I don't either.
When I ordered those stickers, they came in 3-inch, 4-inch, and 5-inch, right? And I thought it was like diameter or circumference. I was like 3 inch. I was like, okay, 4 inches around. I'm like, it's a small sticker. I'll get that. It's 4 inches across. So
it's like the Superman shield in Superman 2 when he throws it. It's
that's right.
2 cents.
That's right. So, but so that was kind of my beyond the comments. That was like our first interaction was that. So he proudly sits. I have a dedicated shelf or a series of shelves. It's a bookcase, but a dedicated like 3-tier, 4-tier bookshelf in my bedroom that has all my childhood toys, or not all, but I'd say probably 90% of my childhood toys that survived, because I do have a few littered out in different collections throughout the collection.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it's
I
on
do
top
too.
of that. So
I mean, that's the great thing about it. Like, I have a ton of stuff that I did not have as a kid, but there's certain things that I'm even still looking for that I had as a kid that I don't have anymore, and getting them, it's almost like buying a memory and putting it on my shelf. Like I have like I know these things are made fun of in the Transformer community, but I had the flu, and my mom went to the store to get me some medicine and brought me that home when I was little. So it had long been gone, but I found one on eBay years ago, and I said, I'm buying that. That was a memory of my mom right there. So I know it's weird, but
yeah, that's not weird at all.
I always thought it was pretty cool because it was also a sports car. So the car transforms. So
I mean, it looks like the right size too to fit a lot of different, like, was that probably 5-inch toy?
Yeah, like Star Wars size. What was it? It's the only one I ever had of these because they were so goofy looking, but meant a lot to me. I probably did use this car all the time. I was like Teen Turbo.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's speaking of like buying things that you either had as a kid or didn't have as a kid. That kind of feeling. I was reminded of this photo that I wanted to share. So just let people read that for a second.
That is so true.
So that's exactly kind of what keeps this whole thing going, I think.
Yeah, that's why I have it downstairs. I come in here and I get my 5 seconds. But if you add it up, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, I'm an addict.
I mean, we all are to an extent. So, and that's, I don't know. I guess that's like a whole other topic for another time. But I think that it can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. Like I look at it as, at least I'm not injecting shit into my arm or anything like that. But by that same token,
True.
there's an addiction, and there are people who are in even worse off financial situations who, collect this stuff. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've always tried to make it a point not to. It's like gambling, you take some money to gamble with, but you don't take everything out.
right.
You don't want to ruin your life trying to get a Ninja Turtle.
Mm-hmm. My rule of thumb, because I've only been gambling a couple of times, but my rule of thumb is I will only ever break even. Like if I pull out, let's say, $100 to go gamble with, if I start getting ahead and I start going down, if I hit that $100 again, then I'm done, because I'm not going to lose money. So
Right.
the way that I do it, which small return, small risk, small gain, but
Very similar. I mean, I'll put down whatever I'm willing to lose just to play the game.
mm-hmm.
So if I put down 100 and I lose the 100, I've already accepted that when I sat down at the table. If I make money, it's awesome. If I don't, that's all I lost, and I had a good time in the process.
Right.
So,
and Jeremy Jernigan says
drugs would be cheaper. That is so true.
They probably would. They probably would. But
it's more of them Star Wars figures.
That's right. Scuba says, "Greetings, the Drew."
Scoob.
So, for those that don't know, if you don't follow Scuba Pete on Instagram, you definitely should, because he just got a. I think Lucky Doug is the company, but he got this. It's a farmhouse, is what it is, because it comes with like farm animals and stuff. But pulled out of context, it looks perfect for a Dreadnought headquarters because it looks very kind of bayou looking.
I don't know if I've seen this yet.
Oh, I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Scuba got to come to the Iconicon meetup and everything, and it was so awesome to get to meet him. His personality just radiates with everyone.
Yeah, he has,
and he's got the quickest hands in the world. On the 3POA, he and I both are mods, and I'll be sitting there watching the show, and then all of a sudden I'll look at the chat, and there's like 15 nudie links, and before I can even see them, he's already deleted them, blocked them, and sent a message going, "It's okay, guys. I already handled it." I'm like, I haven't even clicked the mouse yet.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a horrible mod.
It happens like I'll see them pop up in the chat here, and I'll go to like delete or block or whatever, and it's like error occurred, and I'll pull up the chat on my phone. I'm like, oh, Scuba already got it, or Timothy Ward already got it.
Oh, I did see this. He said he was turning it into the Dreadnought.
Yep.
I did see this picture. That is awesome.
Yeah, I sent you the Amazon link because it's only like $40 or something. You can get like a huge, massive one, and it has like working porch lights and stuff. And I'm like, I saw that.
$36?
Yeah, it's cheap.
Wow.
I mean, it's cheap now. So if you
hear
guys
that, Bobby?
It's like, oh, he already got one.
No, I mean make some dioramas price. That would be awesome.
I know people want like military dioramas and stuff in the line. I want like offices, like because when I think of Action Force, I always think of that first issue when the swarm come crashing in through the windows in that office. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I want. I want like, because people can make a tower, they can make, you always see, this is the sci-fi one, or this is like the broken down cabin, where I'm like, I want like just a generic office. So, but what I would like to do is have like
with bust out windows where you can like swing them in and
right,
like,
bust out windows,
full scale attack into the office,
and I would like to see double-sided panels. So it's like one like on the interior, it looks nice, but you can like flip a panel and there's like bullet holes on the other side and like all that kind of stuff. So that utilize both sides. But I don't run a toy line. I don't know anything about cost or anything like that. So that's just pure pipe dream, like in a perfect world. And in a perfect world, it would all be free, obviously. But laser fans, Drew, I've been meaning to tell you, you're fired.
Scuba, tone it down. I'm kidding. You're making me look bad.
Oh, Scuba. Says I just built the dock to sit. Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, I'm going to gather up all my crafts and I'm on my way because I've got like the fake boss and vines and stuff. And
I don't know where I would put it. Because, I mean, if you're talking about, is he talking about 6-inch dreadnoughts or like
no.
Yeah, just 3 and 3. Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Still looks awesome.
Oh, yeah. So, alrighty. Well, I think we've lollygagged long enough, so we'll get into these questions.
What you got?
All right. So our first question, and this is what I really should have done this because I'm a horrible host, but it's been a while since I've done this. Is first off, if you have anything that you would like to plug or tell people where they can find you, now is your chance.
I guess Twitter and Instagram be the best places to find me. You can find me on Instagram at DrewG's_toybox or Twitter at DrewGsays. And if you're really want to, you can find me on YouTube, but I don't have any videos yet. But I'm thinking about it. If you want to have faith and subscribe, maybe I'll surprise you. Maybe I'll do a tour video or something and then go from there.
Links at the moment. So go ahead and I'll put the Instagram right there in the chat. So people can have that. And you said Drew G Says is your Twitter?
Drew G, yeah, I wrote it down. Drew G Says.
That is not it.
At Drew G says.
Maybe if I could, type in Twitter correctly, that might help.
That might work.
Maybe. Or one of the mods can get it. Oh, because it's not pulling it up, but that's all right.
I mean, I follow you on there, so it should pull up.
That's I am
You did
not.
say it right, didn't I?
Yeah. Let's see here.
Capital D and a capital G.
Maybe sorry about the music, people. I have I live where I live. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't hear any
music.
music.
So sorry, I meant to put all of this in the description below, but I'm a horrible host, so I didn't do that.
It's okay. It's my first time.
Timothy Ward got it. There we go.
Thanks, Timothy.
All right. Sorry about that, people. Okay, so I'll put those in the for people listening in the afterwards. They'll be in the description. So, all right. So, our first question of the night is just a quick synopsis about you, like where you grew up, when you were born, all that kind of stuff. So, just to give people kind of a timeline.
I grew up in the fall of 1980, and I've pretty much lived in Middle Georgia all my life. I've lived in Atlanta for about 6 or 7 years, but Middle Georgia has been pretty much my living ground for a long time. So not much to say there. Just
yeah. Well, I mean, it by saying that, it actually says a lot. And for those that don't understand why I ask those questions, it's like if you grew up like Ryan and I talked about it. He grew up in Seattle, so it's very rainy. It's cold most of the year. So can compare that to Georgia, Middle Georgia, where you probably didn't see snow. Maybe the Arctic snow troopers didn't do much for you. You know what I mean? Because it's like, where am I going to play with these?
The winter of '87 was a nice blizzard. Oh yeah, we got a good snow that year. We would tie ski rope on the back of the car and took the wheels off a wheelbarrow and ride down the street. Yeah, ran into quite a few mailboxes. Wrecked.
As one should.
Yeah, it was fun though. I was like 6 years old, I think, at the time. 7,
and you lived
maybe.
in Telltale.
Oh yeah, I did much worse in those same streets.
Oh yeah.
Surprised I have skin on my legs or my face, for that matter.
Oh yeah. Well, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or it gives you tetanus. So there's that.
Sure.
But yeah,
but yeah,
if someone grew up in, I don't know, like northern Canada or something, maybe a surfer toy isn't going to do much for them. So I think regionally, like it can affect what you're drawn to. Like I know for me personally, like I grew up with all 4 seasons, but especially around like this time of year, like July, August, I specifically watch like videos on YouTube about snow and blizzards and things like that because I want it to be cold again. So,
yeah. Well, also what shows back then were determined by the broadcasters who, there was a lot. I mean, I've learned a lot about cartoons of the 80s through like Michael's channel or on Retroblasting or, just these toy lines. I'm like, I've never even heard of this show.
Because it wasn't syndicated in your area.
Yeah. I didn't see the shows. They never came on. Like I remember for a very short period, Voltron coming on TV, but it was so brief. It wasn't like a every week kind of thing. But I do remember the toys. I remember the whole Voltron lion set being at our local A&P grocery store up on the top shelf and going, oh, I want that so bad. Right. And all I could ever get were the little figures, the little tiny ones. And I only ever had the villains, which I still got over here. I still have them. like the king and the prince. So, I mean, I didn't know what Voltron was, but it was cool as hell because they were lines that combine. That's as much as I knew about it.
And there's another good example. You mentioned an AMP. Like we had an AMP where I grew up, but it like I barely remember it. Like I think it went out of business quickly. But it's like I know in the South you have Piggly Wiggly in a lot of areas. Like you go so far north and Piggly Wiggly just disappears and becomes something else. So it's like it's fun to hear those little things where someone's like, "Oh, I grew up in this town or whatever."
We called it the Hoggly Woggly.
Right. We had
down here in the South.
Or like if you go like northeast, you get to Wawa and things like that, or Cumberland Farms.
I love Wawas.
So it's fun how memories like that change. Like the store may change, but the memory's the same. Or I have memories of going to like you had memories of going to AMP and seeing Voltron. It's like I have memories of going to Kroger's and seeing toys. But people are like, "What the fuck is a Kroger?" So, but Scuba Pete says that you're a big fan of Canadian Mounties. You dressed as one for Joe Fest. So
Drew's did I? I thought I had this shirt on at Joe Fest. I'm pretty sure I had this shirt. I didn't realize that till just now, but
he says your room is ridiculously cool.
Thank you, Scuba. Yeah, yours is too.
Coming from a guy who has a freaking flag in the middle of it.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a flag. Until I have a flag, I can't say it's ridiculously cool. Yours has a flag.
He's got a flag with the wood add-on, and it's fully decked out with extra stuff. And
he has a flag in a war scenario happening all around it.
Mm-hmm. So, Scott Hughes says we were out of school for 10 days that year, referring to the blizzard.
Oh wow!
So, and then he also says that Winn-Dixie and Buy Low were two major grocery stores.
Yeah, we had those two. Came around after AMP. Yeah. Did y'all ever have a CC's Pizza?
Oh yeah.
We had one in my hometown, and so many memories in that place. It's crazy. It got turned into a video warehouse, and then they mowed it down, and now the spot is a beauty salon.
We had a CC's Pizza all the way up until I was a senior in high school. And that place was great because it was all you can eat pizza, and you could just walk up and be like, can you guys make the macaroni and cheese pizza? And they're like, yeah, sure. So that way you could try all the weird pizzas and not have to order one. Like, it's not like Domino's. You can just call them and be like, hey, can I try a slice of this weird one? Like, they're like, no, you can buy the $18 pizza, but CC's like, yeah, here you go. We just made a macaroni and cheese pizza. Enjoy.
And they had the arcade area where you could go play. I just played what was it, Kung Fu Nintendo game, but they had the guy that was like, fight.
That's right. Kung Fu.
Pixelated white and red or blue. I can't remember.
White and black gi.
What? Yeah.
He looked like he was the John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
So, man, fun stuff.
I have to keep adjusting because this chair is like a rocker, and I feel like I'm getting too comfortable back here.
Nah, it's all right. This is a very low impact, relaxing.
At our age, if we lean back too far, we start going.
Oh yeah.
Like Grandpa fell asleep.
That's right. Fun time. I think we all of our dads would fall asleep in the living room in that one chair by 7:30 p.m. watching the news. And I used to make fun of my dad for that all the time. And now I'll be alone just watching a movie, and then all of a sudden 3 hours later I'm like, what year is it? So
yeah, my dad was the same way.
Yeah, that's there was a picture of Homer Simpson asleep in the chair, and they're like, is your dad really your dad if he doesn't do this? But all right, so what were some of your favorite toy lines when you were a kid?
Oh, all the top ones that I grew up with. I came in late to G.I. Joe, which I hate. It wasn't that. Well, let me take that back.
Let me tell you, I came into G.I. Joe in 1992. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you're like a lot younger, so
I get that
you
a
wouldn't
lot.
have. You wouldn't be. You
I'm
wouldn't
so young
be
that they put a car
in
seat
that
in the
age.
back of Bobby's truck for me to go to Joe Fest.
Was it the Bobby Buggy?
That's right. The Bobby buggy.
What buggy? But that was. I laughed so hard when I saw that come across the screen. That was funny.
It was glorious.
It would have been really cool if he had put like a little picture of you in the
driver's seat.
Yeah, with the
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones mask. I can't talk today. I don't know what it is.
All right.
Anyway, you had asked me about the toy lines. No, like G.I. Joe was something that like I saw the cartoon and everything. I didn't really have much of the toys, but my friends did, and I played the hell out of those toys. But they were the destructive friends. They were the ones that would, strap a
M80 to them.
Yeah, or shoot them on BB guns at them from across the place. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'll take them. No, you're not taking them. They're mine. But you're blowing them up. So I got my first. Let me see if I can read this. My first two. These aren't them. I've had to reset some. Oh, I just knocked them off. Two of my first Joes were these two guys, Stalker and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Someone in the chat could probably tell me.
I see the skis.
Yeah, it came with the snow thing with the tires. I'm horrible with names. And then Stalker with his canoe. Yeah. I got to
say what you will, but I think that's a hell of a deal. You get a figure and a canoe on a card
yeah.
back.
Stalker was cool. Yeah. Stalker was one of my favorite. He still is one of my favorite figures in the line. So I'll definitely get him when he comes out.
So we have two. We have Wind Chill and Snow Job. So you guys have to duke it out.
I think it's Snow Job. I think it's Snow Job. But yeah, at a young age, I mean, I was playing with the Masters of the Universe. There's a picture on my Instagram where I'm like 4, maybe 5, and I got my first Castle Grayskull, and I'm like all excited. In fact, I did a homage to it when I got this one in the box. I took a picture of it the same way in my office at work so I could imitate it. But yeah, I played with those, and then I played Ninja Turtles when they started coming around, and Thundercats. Didn't have much Silverhawks because I had the big, was it Tallyhawk? The big eagle though, with the claws and the missile that comes out of its mouth.
How about Point Dread?
No. This is Silverhawks.
Oh, I have no idea. Silverhawks is outside of my purview.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could. My friends had it, but I never had the figures. I just had the closest thing I had was the Batman that his arms went up and had the little bat that clipped on. I was like, that looks just like Silverhawks. This is Silverhawks Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I called him when I was little.
Yeah, the Scuba confirms it's the Tally.
Tally. Okay.
Yeah, that's. We'll get into those here in a second. Toys with gimmicks.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I did. There was so much I played with. There was toys that I had one-offs of, like Sectars. I had the main guy. I don't know a lot about Sectars except what I've learned on Retro Blasting.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the main Dragonfly with the wings and the head hero. I didn't know who he was. He was in a toy box and he scared the mess out of me.
Oh yeah.
My grandparents had this big, it was like a big circus elephant. It was like white with all these goofy colors on it. And you open it up and he had, or they had all these different toys in there that they had for me that I guess they would buy. I don't remember getting them personally for like Christmas or something. Maybe I did. And I was just young, but I never knew what they were.
Maybe they bought them on clearance or something, so you had something to play with when you came over.
Right. So I would come over and I had like GoBots, like the GoBots with the red and black with silver that folds down or something. Which I always thought looked like, I thought it was a Batmobile Transformer because it looked like that when I was younger.
Right. That's right.
But yeah, they would have all these toys in there, and I'd be like, "What is this? What is so weird looking?" But it was a cool gimmick too. And I know those wings are like very easily broken and stuff, but at that point they weren't. You could throw them in there with all kinds of toys. You'd find it, and you could pull it out and like stick it back in and go off, and it wouldn't break at all. I have a little bit of Dragonheart, JJ. I'm trying to collect the line right now.
It's not a very deep line, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I got 2 of the dragons over there on the shelf. I need to get the main dragons. I know there's like 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, there's the Medusa dragon, I think it's the Razorback dragon or Razor dragon, something like that, and then there's Draco.
Those are the 2 I have. Yeah. And then there's I think there's 2 more. I don't want to call them evil dragons, but one of them's got the king with him. I want to get that one. And I want to say there was another one. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's 5 dragons, but I think there's only 6 figures that were carded, I think.
Right.
6, maybe 7.
I mainly want to get the main characters closest to what they look like. Right. I may get all of them at some point, but yeah, I always go for. I love dragons anyway, so I want to get all those dragons, regardless of the movie. But I do love that movie, so I have that in common with JJ.
Yeah, I have most of them.
Yeah,
so it's a very cheap line to get at the moment. So I was able to get, I think, 5 carded figures for like $25 or something on eBay.
Yeah. So the dragons are the hardest things to get.
Right. They're expensive.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. And that's what I want. But yeah, so, I'm with you.
Dargon, which I guess is the Sectar character.
Dargon. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I have a very high appreciation of him now. I want to find him in good condition and put him on the shelf just for that fact of it being, like I said earlier, a memory of childhood playing with it. You know, it's not something, I don't know if I'd want to collect the whole line, but that particular one with the wings and everything and intact and it put him on the shelf. I have a few figures like that in my display that are just for memory for that. It's not necessarily something I'm obsessed with collecting.
Right. That's kind of how you were speaking on your grandparents having like random toys. That's kind of how I was growing up with my older brother because he was a lot older than I am. So it was like, I guess it's hyperbole, but it's like, I don't know, being like one of the like Romans and being like, who built this kind of thing? Because it's like the toys were well before my time and he never told me anything about them. So there were like a Sectar in the house, or there was remnants of Transformers left and things like that. So I would just play with those and just had to make up my own stories.
Transformers was another line. I forgot to mention that one. Yeah, I loved Transformers growing up, and I didn't get many of them, and I've since rectified that.
Oh Lord!
but then it was like I had, I want to say it was Double Dealer, but I'm not sure. I know it was a blue car. I just didn't know what it was. And Astro Train were 2 that I had, and then I had a lot of the little tiny ones. A bunch of the little ones because that's what we could afford. I wasn't in a household where I could buy the big stuff. If I got stuff semi big, it would be at Christmas. If I went into a store, it was going to be like the little 3-pack of mini Transformers or maybe a cheap figure or something. play sets were few and far between.
Yeah.
Growing up.
A lot of the big stuff I got as a kid was from grandma.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most of the big stuff I got, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, was when I go visit my dad. He'd buy me like the Turtle Blimp or the Sewer or the or any of the van or any of that stuff. He was like, I don't know if it was him trying to be like, look what I can buy you, I'm better kind of attitude or not. But when I go over there, I know my mom went through a struggling time with us when we were younger. And so, I didn't get to keep a lot of what I had, and moved around a lot, lost a lot along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd go over there and he'd be like, here's something you'll love. And I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah. You can buy my affection. It's okay.
I can have 5 of them?
That's right.
5 figures?
Daniel
Mom only ever lets me have 1. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Carhoonan, or Bearman, as I like to call him. He said Drew's blue car might have been Punch or Counterpunch.
That's who it was.
Autobot and Decepticon.
That's who it was. Yes.
Heck yeah.
That's exactly who it was.
The only Transformer I really like, I know my brother had a couple, but like a lot of them were in pieces. The only one I remember distinctly like being mostly intact was like this weird bat thing. It was like Psych Out or something, I think is what it's called. But it was like
Out.
It was like a bat.
It was a Beast Wars?
No. This is Transformers. But I saw a re-release of it at Walmart like a year ago. I think it was part of the Headformers or Headmasters or something.
Oh, I think I got I think I have a version of him over there. I got a lot. Most of my stuff is the newer stuff.
Yeah, he's like orange, purple, and black, or like orange, mauve, or.
Did they do a retro packaging with him with a repaint?
Yeah, I think so.
He's over there. I have him in the retro package over there. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So with that, just to kind of continue on that same train of thought, I'm curious in kind of an overview of the things that held your interest over the years. So like things you liked as a kid and you still like now.
Well, again, that's a very broad subject because I feel like I collect a little bit of everything. Like I try to focus, but then I get distracted by something else cool. And I'm like, this came. I'm kind of opportunistic. Like I recently, when I say recently, probably a few months ago, got the Voltron Castle. Never thought I'd ever have that, but a friend of mine here in town who sells stuff did a trade with me, so it's incomplete. I did some restoration on it, and I gotta still buy some more pieces for it to get it complete. But I mean, I was all about that, but then I start collecting the Transformers, and I don't know. I'm so ADD with my collecting that it's like, who's talking about what? Ooh, I want that.
Right.
I mean, that's literally the way I collect. It's like,
I'm kind of the same way. Like I try to focus when I can, but otherwise, like a lot of it's impulse. Because as my friends will tell you, and as I openly admit, I lack any sort of impulse control. So if I see something, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. That's how I end up with things.
I have that same problem. I have to stay. I budget myself out so I don't overspend, but I have to. It has to be a planning, but I always find those things where I'm like, oh God, I gotta have that. Like right now, if you see the Sherwood Forest here, well, I've been talking to Michael. He's got that castle from the BBC. I can't find that thing anywhere. But I got a spot for it. When I find it, and if I find it at a decent price that I can afford,
right,
it's going right there. Because
Oh yeah.
just on the search for it. But I'll get distracted and probably
Mhm.
4 will go through eBay and I won't even notice because I'm searching for Dragonheart stuff because
Yeah.
JJ brought it up again.
I went down a rabbit hole of beast. What are they called? Battle beasts for like a week, and I bought like 8 of them. So,
Yeah, I'll do that.
But,
That's how I got the whole Shadow line. I went, I gotta have the Shadow, and then I ended up buying the whole series.
hmm
I gotta get the car again because I dropped it down the stairs and shattered the top part,
Oof.
which is the easiest part to break. And I had already bought 2 just to replace it. And now I'm like, again.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. But Daniel Carhoonan says Mind Wipe was the headmaster who transforms into a bat. That's the name I was thinking of. I knew it was something to do with the brain. I didn't know if it was like mind or something, but yeah.
There's so many at this point. I can't remember all their names.
Yeah, it's like Triumph Rat 629 says, I swear Psych Out was a joke. He probably was. But it's like they've all got these kind of names, and it's hard to keep track of all of them.
Yeah, they would use the same names over there, so they could keep the trademark.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Battle Beasts here are unrelated, but they were part of the Beast Formers. They were part of Transformers in Japan, but over here they're like a separate thing. So
like not Beast Wars.
No, I have a ton of Beast Wars, but Beast Machines.
Yeah, I knew you were a big Beast Wars fan.
The Battle Beasts are like these little 2-inch tall, like robot-looking things with animal heads.
I don't know if I'm familiar with those. I'd have to see them.
Yeah, they're really, really tiny. They're like 2-inch figures. So I'll just pop a picture real quick and send it over to you. But they're teeny tiny little things. But yeah, they were a separate toy line here, but they have like the rub symbol on the chests and stuff, like the Transformers did, but they changed them into elements, and it was, I don't know, I did a little bit of research, and it was very confusing to me then, just like it is now. Jeremy just says, yeah, baby, for reasons, I suppose.
Probably because I'm getting more Dragonheart.
You love that Dragonheart stuff. If that game he's doing comes out and Dragonheart hasn't been implemented into it somehow, I'm gonna be very upset.
I know, right?
So
I need some new Dragonheart figures. Some like I know McFarlane's bringing back his McFarlane Dragon series, which I'm excited about, but I think it's more of the same. And I'm like, give me some fully articulated dragons, McFarlane.
Yeah,
get off of the statues. I love them. He has by far the best looking dragon line.
Oh yeah,
but they're statues. I have a bunch of them at my office at work, and I'll probably buy the ones he makes. But the articulation, I need to be able to pose them.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm right there with you, and that's his wheelhouse too, is like monsters and shit. But Bobby L. Collins, so the Beast, I keep wanting to say Beast Machines, which is like the sequel to Beast Wars.
Yeah.
The Battle Beasts had wood, fire, and water on their symbols. It was like rock, paper, scissors. Like that's how you're supposed to like play with them. So, and it's all, I think they were around from like 87 to 88 or 87 to 89 or something like that. They weren't around very long. So. And Scooby says, "Didn't Elton John sing that song? Don't go back in my heart." Yeah, that's exactly what that song is. So,
Scuba, you're a trip.
That's right. So conversely, though, I'm interested if there's any toy lines that like you were like aware of as a kid that you didn't like or care about, but as an adult you like them now.
Going back to Sectars, I didn't get it. I never saw the cartoon. It was not in syndication where I lived. So when it showed up, I didn't have a box telling me what the name of it was. It was just a scary looking man with antennas, but buggy eyes, and sitting on this really creepy looking bug. But you could put your hand in him. So that was kind of cool looking. But so I still played with it, but sometimes I would put it back in the box because I was like, this is kind of freaky.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't even know what Sectars were till Michael made that video. I was like, I had that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm like most of my toy knowledge is from Michael doing a video and me going, "That's what that is."
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's fun to reminisce and go through stuff like that and find out things you're not familiar with that you knew about as a kid, but you didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my entire life, pretty much.
Yeah. Another thing would be one of your favorites, Beast Wars.
Oh yeah.
When it came about, I mean, I was a teenager when it came out, so
Mm-hmm.
I was already out of. I say I was out of buying toys, but I was secretly still buying toys, just on a lot less thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when Transformers changed to Beast Wars, I had no interest in that. I was like, man, this isn't Transformers. Where's the cars?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the cool stuff?
Right.
And so I never, to this day, I don't even have a vintage Beast Wars collection. Now I have a huge Beast Wars collection growing right now from
The modern
reissues and Fall of Cybertron,
mm-hmm.
or War for Cybertron,
Kingdom War for Cybertron or something like that.
Yeah. There's a ton of them out. In fact, I got a few. I might have gotten a couple more in today. But I mean, I got that whole section right there. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And then I have a few of the vintage ones, not vintage, but reissues over there on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That I got because they just look so good.
Yeah.
And once I actually saw the cartoon series as an adult, I was like, okay, this is better than the original cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard to watch the original cartoon and thoroughly through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watch it because I enjoy what it is, but watching it for story, you're like, okay, how the hell did he show up? Who was he? He wasn't in the last episode? What?
Right.
Oh, and now you have these combiners that just all of a sudden grew 400.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, this is kind of weird, even back then watching it. I mean, I loved it, but it was very, the size thing just was off. But when I finally watched Beast Wars, the cartoon, I was like, this is a good story.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I missed this as a kid. I would have really enjoyed this. I wrote it off too quickly.
Yeah, it's only like 3 seasons long or something like that, and it's very kind of like problem of the week sort of for a few episodes, but there is like a large like overarching story. So, and all the characters are like distinctly different in their like personalities and everything. There's no two that are exactly the same. So
yeah,
it's good stuff. I tell people to watch it if they can.
Only thing I hate is that they called them Optimus Primal and Megatron. I wish they would have given them a different name.
Yeah. Yeah. I was confused about that. Like Optimus Primal, I'm like, okay, Primal, Primate, I get it. Okay. But I was like, why like Megatron? They could come up with anything like, oh, he was named after the Megatron from Transformers. It takes place like 10,000 years later or something, like some huge time gap happens. And then it somehow it's simultaneously a sequel and a prequel to Transformers.
That's the brilliance of it.
Yeah. So,
I'm laughing at I'm laughing at that one.
Good Lord, Drew G shows up to a live interview like a baller. Well, we're high octane around here.
I learned it from you.
I learned it from watching you. So, man, that's speaking about like just kind of reminiscing on things. That's kind of how it is whenever I watch retro blasting, because it'll be like toys that I were in the house growing up, and I'll like Inhumanoids. Had completely forgotten about like Inhumanoids entirely. My brother had 3 out of the 4 human characters, and I had forgotten all about them. And then he did the video on it, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's who those people were!"
I still haven't ever seen that show. I remember like toy commercials or something about it, because I remember them, but I've never seen that cartoon. The most information I know is from retroblasting. Like most of the stuff I have.
He's the Indiana Jones of the community.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the historian that goes digging for the information.
Yeah.
All these people are like,
Michael, you missed it earlier, but that's the spot for the castle when I get it, right next to the Sherwood Forest.
That's right.
So I'm just waiting to find it.
I wonder if Dragonheart figures would scale well with that castle. Possibly, maybe not.
I mean, maybe some of the dragons. The dragons I got are scaled down, so compared to, but I mean they weren't in the film, so I guess they could be the right size.
Yeah, maybe. So
yeah,
I'm curious about toys that you were eager to get, because this is I think everyone has a story about it. But a toy you saw it at a store, or you saw a commercial for it, or however you learned about it, and you were so desperate to get it, and you found it, you begged your mom, she bought it, you took it home, and the toy fucking sucked.
This one's gonna take a second. I don't know if I have many toys. I mean, I played with. I grew up playing with what I had and enjoyed a lot of it. Some of them had gimmicks that I was like, I would be like, oh, that sucks. But I mean, I wasn't like completely. I can't think of anything I'm completely disappointed with. I was ever completely disappointed with. I'm looking around and stuff, and I just saw Jeremy's
heart scales with everything. Scott Hughes says Darth Vader Star Destroyer.
Yeah, see that was before me. See, I'm in that generation, but by the time I was old enough to know what toys were and cartoons and toy relations, that droids was leaving. Droids and Ewoks were the cartoons. That's what was showing. I would see the Star Wars movies playing on TV in out of order, but the droids and Ewoks was all I had, and I never even saw those toys until I got much older. So, but I would have loved to have it, but I can see the problem with it.
I have a few of those. Like, I've told the story about one of the Toy Biz X-Men that I got, which was a Cyclops and Apocalypse 2-pack. But there was one that I remember.
One with the red A, right? Scarlet Letter.
Oh god, that toy sucks.
I don't have that one. I have a bunch of the Toy Biz figures in the other room, but I don't have that Apocalypse.
Good. But there was one, and it was a TMNT figure, and it was a Leonardo, and he came in like this, for the lack of it was a wind-up egg, because he would like fold up, and he'd fit in the slot, and he would close this large green egg around him, and he would wind one side of it, and it would go bzzz, and then the egg would shoot apart, and he'd stand up, and that was it. That was the whole gimmick.
I think I have one of those. I don't have the egg, but I have one that does that.
It was awful.
It might be a Donatello though.
Yeah, I think they did all 4 turtles, but it's a stupid gimmick. Like, because it was like, in order for them to make that gimmick,
a lot of them were.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, but like the figure itself couldn't be played with, because it has like the springs, like spring loaded in there's springs in the legs, so it's like you can't kick and things like that. Or like they did these like acrobatic turtles where Leo did a backflip. Like, you'd hold his legs down, you'd bend him forward, and it goes zzz, and a spring would release, and it would make him flip backwards.
Right.
But it was like, it's fun for about 3 seconds until you're like, okay, time to fight Shredder, and he can't kick, he can't move, because that's his whole gimmick.
It's kind of like a toy drone. You go oh, cool, you can play it. And then once you get the thrill, you put it down and you go, well, I've had that for 4 years and haven't pulled it out. It's kind of a
Yeah.
pointless purchase for 150
Yeah.
bucks. What then?
Yeah.
I did that with a few years back. There was this really cool display box thing that was it was like a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
It was called, I think it was called Toy Effects or something. And not to knock the company making them or anything, but it was Japanese or Chinese or something. But it was a figure display box with LED lights in it, and it had like the kind of hologram sheet sideways, and you'd put the figure in there, and you could make it to where like let's say someone's holding a lightsaber or shooting a gun, it would have like a special effect you could see.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, that is so cool. And it was like really expensive, like $70-$80. So I ended up purchasing it because I got the smaller one where you could just like put one or two figures in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I displayed it with a lightsaber going off her. And then I realized I have to have my tablet sitting on this all the time to display it. This was a horrible purchase because I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that sounds kind of rough. Well, it's like, so I recently acquired the Marvel Legends Tesseract because they did the Loki thing for
Laser Pants hook you up.
Oh yeah, he was like, Ryan Ting sent me this. I don't really want it. You can have it now. But I was like, I wanted that Tesseract, but the Comic-Con 2-pack with him and with Red Skull and the Tesseract was going for so much money. I was like, I don't collect the MCU anymore. I really don't, want that. And then they did the whole thing with Loki, and I'm like, I really don't want that fucking Loki. I just want the Tesseract. But because they're re-releasing it, people are selling their old Tesseracts. So I was like, all right, I'll just buy that one. And then I found out, like, you press the button and you can light it up, but it doesn't turn off by itself.
I just got the picture you sent me. That was, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah, the Battle Beasts.
Battle Beasts, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off.
And yes, Tesseract and Cosmic Cube are the same thing, Bobby Collins. That is correct.
Yeah. That was an easy pass for me because I didn't really care for the Cosmic Cube itself, and the Loki show sucked. So
right, that's why I got on eBay and just bought the Tesseract by itself because people are trying to sell them now because they're no longer worth as much money because they're re-releasing the Tesseract. And so I was like, cool. So I got it. I lit it up and I put it all back together, and I sat there and waited for it to turn off because I figured it'd be like 30 seconds. It's like, no, you have to open it all back up and press the button again to turn it off. And I was like, that kind of sucks.
That sucks. Should have had like a sensor button on the bottom or something, like when you hold it or when you put it down, it lights up for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I guess you could maybe do a switch that way. But I know I have a TARDIS that does that. If you set it down on the ground, it makes the noise, goes so that technology is definitely there. I don't know why they wouldn't do something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
I don't know. Like I don't know like what goes into all that or like who decides what, but I was just kind of bummed out a little bit because it's like I have this like fear of batteries exploding in toys. And so I'm like, oh, like I have the Infinity Gauntlet, and I took the batteries out because I'm like, I don't want the batteries to blow up. I don't want the batteries to blow up in anything because even as a kid, I'd have something with batteries and they would die. And I don't know about your parents, but if the batteries in one of my toys died, my parents would tell me, yeah, they don't make batteries for that anymore because they didn't want it to work.
No, that was just your parents.
So, but the batteries would stay in there. So like I open them up like a year later or whatever, and they're all corroded and exploded. So I'm like,
I have found a lot like that. It sucks. I don't understand at this point in life with collectors and displayers. Like companies like Hasbro need to put a USB port into like the Sentinel or the His Tank or some, or even their helmets that they have, just a little place where you can like plug it in and put it into your display. So when you turn on your lights, you can have them come on and be part of the display. I mean, it makes sense to do that. And I don't understand why they don't just add that little.
That is a good question.
They don't even have to put a cord. They could just put the option to plug it in.
Right. Master 42, thank you, sir. He says, I'm digging the toy cave.
Thank you, Master Son.
And then Frenchwise says, that's his swagnasium. So, funny.
That's the man cave.
That's right. I love, and it's going to sound so dumb, but I love the support beam right behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's my bedroom right above. It holds my bed up.
Nice. The first house I lived in as a child, the basement was where everyone congregated, kind of thing, and there was a support beam because it was the basement. And I used to climb on the couch that was next to it, and I would jump to the top and slide down and pretend I was a fireman. And then the house I grew up in post that, because we only lived there for about 4 or 5 years, maybe, didn't have a basement. So I didn't have the support beam that I could pretend to be a fireman in or anything anymore. So whenever I see one, that's my immediate thought is, I can be a fireman.
Yeah, I thought about that too around here. I got quite a few of them in the other room and this one here. But if I did that, the whole house would fall down.
True.
I go swing on it one time and it goes right back.
And Scuba says, but Drew, Hasbro's green now, but don't ask us about batteries, that's actually a really good point. If they're sweating plastic, it's like, what about all the battery waste they're going to create with not using USBs?
Yeah, that makes no damn sense.
None. So I'm curious though, speaking about Playtime, since that is the name of the show, about did you mix and match your toy lines when you played, or was it very Transformers cannot play with He-Man, or
I dealt with the scale a little bit, but you played with what you had, and being financially struggling through part of my childhood, it was whatever I had was what I played with. But what I did have, I would change up. I had I had my bed sheets. I would constantly configure into caves and mountains and stuff, and pillows, and I had building blocks and Lincoln logs that I would build. But I'd also do Matchbox cars. I would change in my mind. I would use Matchbox cars like this little Batmobile would stand in for my Toy Biz Batmobile.
Right.
And then I would play on a car mat or anywhere in the house with all these cars, and I'd have car chases and stuff through the car mats. I'll hold it up there. That's one of my original childhood. This is actually my original Toy Biz one. You can see where I put an X to let the X-Men ride in it.
That's right.
Yeah. So I had because I had very few cars and stuff. So, Wolverine had to get around. I didn't have the Wolverine Jeep yet.
Yeah, the Wolverine motorcycle with the claws on the front.
Yeah, I never had that one. I have it now, but I didn't then. And the Jeep truck, SUV, whatever it was, which I have now too. But I didn't have those, so I had to have that. And my original X-Wing that my cousin gave me, everything that could fit in there would go in there.
Absolutely.
Whoever, G.I. Joe, any character that would fit, little mask characters, they would go in there. So yeah, I played with whatever I had and just used my imagination, and the world was mine to conquer.
The world was your oyster. So we have a few comments from Ashton 42 says, we have a word for basement in Louisiana. It's called an indoor pool. That's kind of funny. Keith Knight says his older sister had a pole in her room, but she used to play fireman completely wrong. And then and Retroblast, and we never see Hasbro toys in stores, so they created the packaging so they couldn't see them either to be closer to the customer experience. That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Michael
love the
Shavers
Hasbro
decided to
jabs.
join us. So he was on the previous episode 9 of The Way I Played. So
yes, I believe I caught that one. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think I've seen them all.
Yeah, if anyone wants to go back and listen to them, they are there's a playlist on the channel, and I do have some optics every once in a while, but I call them optional optics. Like, you can sit back and listen. You don't have to look at anything. Because I know, at least speaking for myself and probably a number of other people, when it comes to live streams like this, I treat them like a podcast and put my headphones in, and I do other things. Like, I clean, or I work on, like, anytime I'm working on a custom for the channel, I guarantee you the music that's playing in the video is not what I'm listening to. I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm listening to something else. So
I'm the same way. I constantly listen. If I missed it, I'll put it on while I'm doing something else. But it's hard when it's live like this.
mm-hmm.
Like, I could be over here rearranging stuff or anything, and then I come sit down. I'm like, oh, I got to comment. I want to comment.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Scuba just made a joke. I gotta add to it. And
right. Yeah,
and
I'm the same way. Like, I'll be so the way my work schedule works, like, I'm off every other Saturday. Unfortunately, the way 3POA falls, it falls on my work Saturday every single time. So I'll be driving around in my unit, and I'll be like, "Oh, they said I got to pull over and make a comment real quick." So
I have done that too. When I was driving in a car, I'll be like, "Oh, stoplight."
Right. So Michael Shavers says, "The less humans I have to look at, the happier." You don't know how true that is. I'm not well around large groups of people. So
see, I love people watching. I'm a people person. Going around meeting new people and just seeing the types of people, sometimes that bites you in the ass, but sometimes you deal with some really crappy people, but there's a lot of good people to meet too. So
I tell people I'm like a cat. Like, I don't mind people, but I pick the people I want to be around. So
right.
I'm kind of selective. But once I'm around you, I'm like a dog. I'm extremely loyal. So is what it is. But yeah. So I forget what we were talking about. Oh, X-Men. That's right.
X-Men.
So
always comes back to X-Men.
So you and I shared the love of the Toy Biz X-Men.
Oh yeah.
So when I was born, it was the very, very tail end of the 80s, like the last 9 months of the 80s. So when I was growing up, I got G.I. Joe, X-Men, like Batman animated series, Power Rangers, Star Wars came back like a year later, and Spider-Man. Like, I got like this sweet spot of just like all that experience plus all the stuff from the 80s that my brother had.
The Spider-Man and the X-Men figures, especially those first few years, I loved those figures. And I was 11, 12, 13 when they were starting to come out. So I was like tilling there playing with toys and going, no, I'm not playing with toys.
No, these belong to the neighbor kid. I don't know.
They're collectibles.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, I played with a lot of them. I do remember. This is a funny memory. I don't know if anyone else had this kind of revelation when they were playing, but I used to have the most vivid imaginations playing with my figures and playing with toys and everything. And I would create these scenarios and play for hours and hours and hours with these figures. And I remember, I can't tell you what I was playing with, probably Batman or X-Men. But I just remember getting to a point where I kept repeating the same scenario over and over again because I couldn't remember what I did. And I was like, I would play and I'd be like, okay, I got to get, let's just say Batman because I can't remember. Batman over to this to fight. Okay, I got to get Batman over here to fight. I just lost my imagination. What the hell?
Mm.
So that was the day I stopped playing with the toys.
Mm-hmm.
But I still loved them.
Mm-hmm.
I still love, even to this day, I love the art of the toy. I mean, what it represents, whether it be a cartoon, a movie, a comic, just, I mean, it's a 5 POA figure, but it's Batman.
Mm-hmm. Is
And
that the Silver Batman?
this is
It is.
Laser Pants Batman.
That's right. I was going to call him Tech Shield Batman, but Tech Shield's gold.
Yeah, it's he's got. This is my original one from when I was little. This piece is not. I had to buy that separately, but that's the way he came.
Nice.
And it fell off.
Now you got to buy another one.
Yeah, I have a lot of figures and stuff that I had over here. I love Sting. Being in the South, we had a lot of WCW stuff, and Sting was my guy.
Right.
I would watch WWF back in the day, and I loved Hogan and Macho Man, which I showed you earlier. But I didn't. But WCW was the one I saw the most of. Ric Flair and that stuff. Anyway, that was
the old Nature Boy.
Woo!
Yeah,
got to meet him and Sting. It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of what, or tying into what you were talking about, where you kind of like lost like the imagination. I call it
right. That's where we were.
I call it the great shame, because it's like, because you're like, cool, like toys are cool, I can't wait to play with these, and then all of a sudden, like, you just become, even when no one's around, you just become embarrassed out of nowhere, and I call it the shame.
Yeah.
And I can pinpoint the exact moment where I got the shame, and I was playing out in the yard with two of my friends, and we were doing the role play thing, like we had like toy swords and stuff, and we were in middle school, and my neighbor, neighbor in air quotes, like kind of a ways down, but you could still see them, went to the same school I did, but he was a grade ahead of me. And on top of being a grade ahead of me, he'd been held back, so he was supposed to be 2 grades ahead of me. And we used to sit and wait for the bus together after school and all that kind of stuff. And, all of his friends were like kind of the, not rough and tumble crowd, but they were like, I guess, the bullies of the school kind of thing. Like, they were not the most desired. They weren't popular, and they were kind of assholes to everybody. The precursor to like the goth kids, pretty much, once we got to high school. But I remember him, we're out there playing, I forget what we were pretending to be, but he just yelled across the lawn. He was like, "Hey." And I was like, "Oh, hey. Hi." And this was like the Sunday before, Monday. And I'm like, that was a great shame. I was like, all right, we're going back inside. And that was the last time I remember ever playing outside in any kind of or playing that type of way.
I can't remember a shame moment. I know they were there. I can't recall it like that. I recall the moment not being able to play with imagination with my figures, but as far as the shame, I know I had shame, like going to the store and be like hiding the figure and being like, I got to get to the register before anyone sees me, so I can go. Mom, hurry up. We don't need cereal right now.
Oh, wait right here. I'll be right back. I gotta go grab some. No, don't do this to me. You're standing there.
Oh, hey. What's that? It's for a birthday for somebody.
It's for my cousin who, no, there was a story. I told it on the first episode of this. I was talking to Ryan about it, and just the Cliff Notes version. Long story short, I was way too big to be in a shopping cart, way too old, way too tall, but I hurt myself. I had vomit all over me.
I remember this story.
And I'm sitting there like holding like a pack of like Pokemon toys or something like that, and the kid from school's in line behind us, like, "Oh, hey." Like,
Yes, I remember you did talk about that on one of them. I don't remember which one, but I do remember hearing that story.
The first episode, it was not a good time at school. No.
Yeah. I had to go through that with school kids and picking on. on you and everything. So I ended up staying home playing a lot with figures and such. But I mean, I had fun. There's a lot of great toy lines out there. My problem was that I had, Toy Story 3?
Mm-hmm.
That's my life.
Oh boy.
Except my mom had owned the daycare. And so my mom was not let's put it away for a rainy day in the attic.
Right.
She was let's donate it to Goodwill, let's sell it in a yard sale, or let's make more toys at the daycare.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my Masters of the Universe and my Thundercats and my toys of that time period, I think some Ninja Turtles, they would get boxed up while I was at school and taken to the daycare. So I get to the daycare and to play, and I'm like, that's mine. No, you got to share. But it was mine.
It was literally mine.
I was playing with that yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm having to play with 40 kids in a room.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Ghostbusters. No, give me that. No, you broke it. What the hell?
That's got to be rough.
Yeah, I just had to witness it. I didn't go off to college. I was still the kid. That I told you about the X-Wing I had.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Wing was the only vintage Star Wars toy I had, other than 3 figures that I do still have.
Mm-hmm.
That my uncle took me to a comic and toy shop, and I bought them used. Yoda, Tusken Raider, and Han Solo and Bespin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I had those 3, and then I had the X-Wing that my cousin had given me, because he got me into loving Star Wars, because he had the whole collection of toys, which he still has, and he won't give to me. It's in a closet somewhere, and I've tried. Anyway, sorry, tangent. But he had given me this X-Wing, and I played, like I said, I played everything with this X-Wing. It popped open. I'd pretend it was Luke Skywalker. I'd pretend it was Batman. Whoever, G.I. Joe, whatever it was, I played with this X-Wing. And then one day I come home from school and I go, Mom, where's my X-Wing? Oh, I gave it to Goodwill.
Oh.
You what? I mean, it was because every birthday and Christmas, right before I was going to get some new toys, she would go through my room and clean it up.
Mm-mm.
I still to this day give her hell about that. She just goes, I know. I've gotten a new one since then, obviously, but it was only a few years ago that I actually got it.
Oh, so. That breaks my heart. So, but those stories are good to talk about, because they're, it's different experiences, because some people have had all their toys this whole time. Some people didn't even get like 6 months with them.
And some of them actually did say Andy on the bottom of the foot.
Yeah. Nice.
I saw a couple of comments I didn't get to read. They look.
Oh yeah. There's a few. So quickly, Bobby L. Collins talks about his shame. He says, when Transformers Gen 2 came out, I grabbed Starscream and Ramjet, saw one of my childhood playmates in the store, and he looked at me and said, "You're still playing with toys?" And he follows it up by saying, "Today he's in prison, and I'm still playing with toys." That's okay. I'm sure someone is playing with him in prison.
Funny.
So it's fine. Now, Articulated Chat says, just because, thank you, sir. I'll be on his channel Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, nice. So, I'll try to check that out.
Yeah. And then Retroblaster says, prison. Been watching Porridge lately. One of the best jokes is when the prison guard confesses sometimes he wishes he could stay there and not go home to his wife. Yeah. Michael Schaefer says, I lucked out with depression-born parents. The old man wouldn't give away anything. Pretty much the same for my mom. Nice.
Nice.
So
I wish.
RJ says, my dad sold all my Jack's Classic Superstars to buy a house, and I haven't seen him in 10 years. Lord. Master Son says, hey, what if I have your childhood X-Wing?
It's a possibility. I don't know.
Always,
somebody got it.
There
it got destroyed.
There's only a few figures that like I know I altered in some way. He says next Sunday. Oh, well, I won't be
next
available
Sunday.
Next.
Okay.
I thought it was this Sunday. I won't be available, man. I'll be at work. Sorry. I thought it was this Sunday. My bad. But so never mind. But there are a few figures that I know like I altered like with paint or like I did something to them and I no longer have them. So I'm always like maybe one day I'll be on eBay and I'll see it pop up and like, holy shit, that's my exact, and I can re-get it. But
that's what I thought that Terminator was. When I saw the red on it and you had described it that way, I was like, that might actually be his.
Oh, if it was, I would have shit a chicken. So, but
yeah.
What was it? It says, I heard that said in the narrator voice from, wait, let me find the comment. There it is. Okay. Yeah, probably talking about that one. He's like, I read that in the narration from A Christmas Story. And then he says, it's a major award. Was
he talking about Michael's comment or
Michael Schaefer's?
Oh, okay.
So
it's a major. I got you.
Yeah. So my parents were not depression parents, but they were boomers. My grandparents were depression, World War II people. And I think that rubbed off on them in a great way. So I mentioned in my G.I. Joe video that I did for Iconicon that like my accessories just disappeared. Like if I turned around twice and blinked, they were gone. And so I was visiting my mom over a year ago. This is where I found like a bunch of my childhood toys. And I was like, kind of surprised because I thought they were all gone. Because where you had Toy Story 3, I had Toy Story 2. Where like I was getting ready to go off to college and I put all my stuff that I wanted to keep into like a box, like a couple boxes. And the stuff I wanted to get rid of, which were like clothes that didn't fit, things like that, into a different box. And I was like, I'm going off to college. Like they were going to use my room for other things. And I was like, all right, well, my toys are going to go up into the attic and, shoes, clothes, things that don't fit, like toddler stuff, whatever, is going to go to the yard sale. I went to work and my dad grabbed the wrong boxes. So I thought like all of my toys were gone except for like a handful. Because there was like a G.I. Joe that I brought to college with me. Things like there were a few things I set aside and left in my room. And then I was visiting her and she's like, oh no, she's like, I still have some of your stuff. I'm like, and you've waited like 15, 16 years to fucking tell me? So I, got some of the stuff. And then in this stuff were like these huge gallon Ziploc baggies of weapons. I'm like, where the fuck were these?
Nice.
And I guess what she would do, like if I was playing with a toy and I left, we had dogs. And she didn't want the dogs to eat the weapons. So she would take the weapons, like she was just setting them aside and never just kind of collected in a pile. So I don't have weapons for everything, but I do have these huge gallon bags of weapons that have like no toy to go with.
Likewise, I got a bucket that I've collected over the years with stuff that either I've somehow kept but lost the figures, or I've just accumulated with other figures that didn't belong with them or stuff. Just a big old tub full of stuff. I've been trying to go slowly through them and identify them and then put them in a Ziploc and write what it goes to on it. So if I ever need it, I can go back to it and go, oh, I have that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff.
It doesn't help that they came with like 8,000 shuriken and like 4 different weapons that they never used.
Oh, yeah. I never that little rack of weapons I never used those. I don't even know if I ever took them off of the thing. I got the swords, and the nunchucks, and everything else went into the toy box. So, and then disappeared somehow.
I that's when it comes to things like turtles. As long as they have like their main weapons, I consider that complete. Like if I'm buying a Mikey and he has his nunchucks, I don't care about the other bullshit that he has. Like that's complete to me. I'm like that's all I need, just the primary weapon.
Yeah.
So like if I'm getting a Luke Skywalker from like Power of the Force 2, if he has his lightsaber, I don't care what else he had. That's complete. So
yep. I got quite a few of those too.
yeah.
I got a few of the Power of the Force figures, and I can't. I've sat there and like looked forever at those lightsabers, going, "Which one did this one go to?" Because they're so like.
Oh yeah.
At some point, you just got to go. Screw it. It's going with this figure.
Right. No, that's
it needs
like,
one.
I've got a butt ton of like GI Joe scale weapons, and I can't be bothered to like look up who they go to. So I have like one of those GI Joe footlockers that was like a reach for like the 12-inch GI Joes.
Oh yeah.
It's loaded with the 3 3/4 weapons because I'm like, I don't care who this goes to. Like, especially
I need to be that way. I have a bag full of like weapons that I think were part of the weapons packs that I don't have with any figures, and I have like figures like my Snake Eyes has no gun. I'm like, but I think I have another version of that gun in a bag. I could just put that with him. I don't know why I don't.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking it's not the one that came with him. Why would I put it with him? It didn't come with him. But I'm like, but now he has no gun. Give him a gun.
Yeah.
It's just the arguments of a toy collector that you have for yourself.
Yeah. But it's, I justify
doesn't make you any crazier.
Yeah. Well, I justify it because I'm like, I don't want to break any thumbs. So.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you get to the 90s and they have like kind of thicker handles and they have like 10 guns and they only need one. So I'm just like, you know what? Just no one gets a gun. It all goes in this box.
It needs to come to that point. Seriously, I've broken way too many thumbs just trying to just thinking I'm the most careful person. And I'm like, all right, put the gun in. Okay. It'll go. Son of a.
Yeah, I was on a friend's channel doing a live stream, and I had just gotten a Duke. I'd finally, like, he was mint, like perfectly mint. I mean, I didn't think he
even with the crotch.
Yeah, he had the crotch, like it was all intact. He had all of his weapons. I don't know if he was the mail away or not. He didn't have the flag on his shoulder, so if he was mail away, then he wasn't complete. But I just picked him up. He was on a figure stand, and I was just looking at him, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, I'm gonna dance with the devil. And so when I say barely, I mean I had like my fingers on the leg and like breathed too hard, and his dick popped off in my hand. I was furious because he sat on my shelf. Like I had him for like maybe a week, 2 weeks, but he just sat there, didn't do anything. I was like, I want to pose him a little bit. Nope.
I put a new O-ring in mine, and it was I knew about the crotch still. I was careful. I got it all together. Everything, the screw was together. He was in a sitting position. And I was like, okay, I got it. I tightened it. Everything's perfect. Now all I have to do is just stand him up. Went to stand him up. Thing shot straight at my chest.
Yep.
Boom, right there. I went, son of a.
Yeah. And it's
so now, yeah, he's crotchless and sitting over there, and then Stalker, the original Stalker, his right hand has no thumb. So
yeah, it's an uphill battle, and it's not even worth it.
I'm realizing that now.
Yeah.
So I don't. As far as the new like retro line of G.I. Joe, I'm like, I was enjoying the
25th bodies.
With the updated head sculpts and with the new stuff. I didn't love the packaging as much but the figures themselves and coming with vehicles, like I got the HISS tanks, and they're like, well, you can't
the
see them. They're right behind there. Yeah, I bought those, and I was like, I got a bunch of Cobra troopers and
Yep.
infantry. I got a whole bunch of them over here, and then I got the GI Joes. They're over there somewhere. And I was like, this line is cool. I can, because I missed the 25th and 50th anniversary. I didn't buy those. So, and now they're like, it's hard to get them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I could get the original Joes better than I could those.
Mm-hmm.
And having there's not a, I don't know, doesn't feel like there's a, whereas like the original Joe's, I have the book I can go through, and you have the webpage, and you
the
see
Mark
everything
and all that stuff.
The 25th and 50th, it just is like the Valor versus Venom stuff or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really talk about, I guess, but
I think Valor versus Venom was all right. There were some weird colors, but the plastics were updated, so the thumbs didn't break.
Yeah. What was the one right before that? I'm thinking the one where like Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes had like poses already, like looked like they were riding a horse.
There was, let's see, there was Valor versus Venom. There was it Stars and Stripes? Was that one of them?
Yeah, it wasn't that one.
No. There was Sigma 6.
Yeah, it was after Sigma 6. I know there was Extreme. That was the
those were the 5 POA.
Yeah, those were weird too. Sergeant Savage. No, this was right before Valor versus Venom.
Yeah,
whichever one that one is, I can't remember.
Yeah,
but no, I just didn't collect during that time. Anything I was during that point in my life through my 20s and stuff. You know, I was college. You know, in college I collected some Spider-Man stuff. I was big into Spider-Man and comics and then Star Wars. I loved collecting clone troopers and stuff, which I have a huge clone trooper collection. So that was the stuff I focused on. And so I didn't get any of the G.I. Joes. And I didn't even notice G.I. Joes really until like the movies are coming out. And I didn't really want the movie figures at the time. So, you know, I just missed all that. And then when they were like coming out with these new figures, I was like, okay, I could get these. I like the 6-inch, but I love vehicles. I love these lines. And then they just cut that and went straight to the retro again. I'm like, I can still buy the retro. I don't need the retro. The retro were cool for their time, but the updated ones look better. They pose better. They don't break. They
come with a lot more weapons.
Yeah, you can do more with them and do the vehicles, pose with vehicles and stuff.
And they were cheaper.
Build on that. So I don't know. I'm not really getting into the new retro line, although I did buy the new, not Vamp. What do they call that? The Cobra version of the Vamp.
The Stinger.
Stinger. Thank you. I did buy that one, but I'll probably put the figure in the display and then put the Stinger with the newer stuff.
Yeah. So I got a Stinger off of Matt Swafford, and that thing's beautiful.
Yeah, I have an original Stinger, and I think one of the doors cracked, so it fell off. I need to get a new door for it, but everything else is good on it.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's fun to collect.
Yeah, there's always more to collect. Always more. Even when you think there isn't, there's always more. Like I've been army building Deep Six version 2. Just because I like the deep sea diver, you put a helmet on and it's anybody. You know, you do a head swap and now it's Duke as a deep sea diver. Like it's
right,
kind of an all purpose. And then Scuba's like, "Hey, I'm sending you something." He sent me a photo and it's a Deep Six version 2 Fun School version on the card. And I'm like, I didn't even fucking think of Fun School. So
Fun School.
So it's like every time I think, I'm like, okay, I got the version 2, I got the version 4. At Joe Fest, the highlighter yellow one. So I'm like, okay, I got them all. I'm good. I'm set. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm sending this to you. And I'm like,
just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
That's right. Just when I thought I was done. Now I got to army build the Fun School one, which is similar in color but slightly different.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the Motu Origins figures and stuff, which I've missed a couple of waves that they just never had them in this area.
Yeah.
And by the time I realized that, they were skyrocketing price, like Orko and around
Wave
that time.
2. Yeah.
Yeah. I just never saw them, but they showed that freaking Eternia set, and I'm like, all right. So I replaced the tables here with the bigger tables like back here, and extended this, so I expanded it so I can add that and the Snake Mountain if they ever make that.
Which is weird that they're bypassing Snake Mountain and jumping straight to Eternia. I'm still so Castle Grayskull was a Target exclusive or Walmart exclusive. I'm convinced that Snake Mountain will be a Target exclusive. That's what I think. But since Target did so poorly with other exclusives, I'm assuming maybe they kind of shied away from it. Maybe
Target closed down half its stores. So
shit, I didn't know that.
Well, a few years back they did that. So like my
it was a closest.
No. This was like the closest Target to me would have been Macon, and I used to go to that Target anytime I go to Macon. That's only like 45 minutes to get there, 30, 45 minutes, about 45 minutes to get to the store. And they just shut that one down. So it's an hour and a half, 2 hours for me to go to a Target anywhere. So when they do Target exclusives, I'm like, I gotta freaking get this pre-ordered online, hope that it doesn't get canceled, which half the time they do, and hope that they ship it, which Target's fairly decent about putting it in a good box and shipping it. Walmart sucks. You don't buy a collectible from Walmart. You're gonna get it ruined.
Yeah. If you're not an opener, like if you're a mint card person, do not order. I don't care how badly you want it. It's going to show up destroyed. So don't waste your time.
Half the stuff I collect, it's out of the box. I mean, some stuff I'll leave in the, like I have a peg wall where I put like figures that I like. Some of the Marvel Legends on the package, I just like them. If I already have a version of them on the shelf, I'm like, I'll just put that up there because it just looks cool. Or I'll put like an old Dick Tracy or Shadow figure or Marvel superheroes or X-Men.
Is Spy Troops the name of the G.I. Joe line?
That might have been it. Spy Troops. Yes. I think that was it.
Yeah.
It was.
Scuba says Walmart ships using old socks. Probably. Old tube socks. But Bobby L. Collins knows that he recently put out a video because he got 3 out of the 4 retro carded classified figures.
Yeah.
One of them was shipped in like just a plastic bag with no like not even a padded envelope, just a plastic bag. The other one I think was in a padded envelope, and then one was in a box that they like folded the card pretty much to fit in the box.
Wow. Yeah, I've had that happen to me before. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I had that happen from Hasbro twice. I ordered, it was the, what do they call it? The Path of the Jedi or something. It was a PulseCon exclusive in 2019. No, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2019.
Oh God.
And it was X-Wing Luke, Jedi Luke, and what was the third one? I can't remember what the third one was. Was
it the expanded universe Luke where he's
no,
like Jedi Master or something?
No,
I remember there was one like that where he's like,
yeah, because I know it wasn't Farm Boy or Bespin. It was like X-Wing and Jedi. I forget what the third one was, but I ordered one for myself and one for my friend Jeff because he was busy, couldn't get in on the pre-order. And the first one that showed up, because I ordered them in 2 separate orders. The first one that showed up, this is from Hasbro Pulse, mind you. They folded the card to fit it in the box, and then they did it again with mine. And I was like, "What the hell is wrong with them? Like, they are a toy company; they should know better." And it was a con exclusive, so
yeah, seriously, you dealing with something like that, it's a collectible because. I mean, they just don't make that many of them. You'd think they would be a little more knowledgeable about how to collect that stuff. Side note, I finally got the last of my BB
nice
TS exclusives or figures.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I was doing. Like when we first kicked on, I ordered another Spec Op Trooper, and because Ryan turned one of his Spec Ops into a Winter Soldier because he has like butterfly joints and all that. I'm like, oh, I'm doing that, so I need to get a hold of him and be like, what was your recipe for that again? But
yeah,
I also ordered the declassified set, and I don't even own a gung ho. I want the whole, I want everything. So
yeah, I want to get another gung ho and put this pack. That was what I was originally gonna do. I might have another gung ho. I forgot I bought. That is a possibility. I got into. I had wanted to make the Sergeant Slaughter. I don't know. I just posted a picture the other day of that, but I finally got the Sergeant Slaughter that I had ordered through Big Bad, and I had bought a Series 2 so I could add the legs to the torso of the two and make the original. Make him in what he looks like with the black tank top on and pointing his finger. And I started looking, and I'm like, well, he has another look too. So I'm thinking I got to get another special ops trooper. Take the boots off of whichever one with the green and the black boots. Take those off and put them on the black trooper, and then take the torso off and put Trigger's body torso on it, and then put Sarge's head on that. And then you have the other outfit. If you can put the USA on his stomach and put some red, white, and blue stripes down the pants legs.
Yeah, you have it.
Yeah, it would be a good custom that way. Nice. So if anyone does that, give me credit and whatever money you make.
That's right.
So
alrighty. So something we didn't touch on.
I'm in no hurry, bud. So
about Playtime is like, did you have any siblings or like neighborhood friends that you played with regularly?
Yes and no. I had my brother's 9 years difference from me, so he's a little bit younger than you. But you know, like I said, I grew up around a daycare and other kids and stuff. So I played with them a lot, and I had friends that would come over and play. But I played a lot by myself too. A lot of hours spent in the bedroom by myself, just coming up with scenarios and playing and stuff. Because I was just always better at storytelling in my head when no one else was around.
Right.
I'd be in that world. Whereas with a friend, you have to play by their rules.
Right.
Otherwise you just fight.
Right. Yeah.
No, he's over here. No, I'm Batman. No.
Right.
But
it was a lot easier to fully immerse yourself when it was just you.
One thing I was going to mention this when I was looking over what you're talking about. When I would go to this was not daycare, but the business that my mom owns now has a after school and summer camp with kids, and we would play. And when I was a teenager, I would play in this. We were real young teenagers, so I'm talking like 11 or 12. But I collected, and a lot of us collected these Marvel cards.
Oh yeah, I got a fat stack of them over here.
What we would do is we would draw a card, and that was the character we would play. Unless it was we got rid of the girls out of it but like you were Spider-Man or Iron Man or Captain America, and we would just be those characters, and we would read the stats on the back of the cards, and that was our information of how we played, and it'd be like Tony Stark going like that, and then we're like, no, Spider-Man.
Right. That's a smart way to play, actually. It requires a little bit of thought. So
that was the way I played.
Hell yeah. RJ asks, which sergeant do I think will be the best between Classified Mattel and Action Forces? They've all come out in the past 2 years. I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you're wanting the wrestler Sarge, then you're going to have to go with Mattel because that's in the scale with their wrestlers. If you're looking for like a normal like military kind of guy, I think my favorite out of all of them is the version 2 Sergeant Slaughter from Action Force. That's my favorite one. Between the two, like the first version 1 Sarge is kind of like what I call the office hours Sarge because he has like the jacket on and all that. Version 2 is like I'm in the field and I'm going to fuck shit up. Version 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
And like I said, if you mix the pants and add the weapons, you got classic Sarge with a badass array of weapons. I mean, you can mix and combine a lot of stuff with that and turn them into special ops, everything with the Action Force. Now, I don't take anything away from the Hasbro version that's coming out. It's very cartoonesque, big-bodied, and it's a lot younger head sculpt. But the Action Force Sergeant Slaughter is very closer to his look now.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more bulkier in shape.
Right.
But he looks like he could kick his younger self's ass.
Yeah. Force Sarge is he's the more realistic out of all of them. The classified version, I don't have it, and I'm not going to get it because I just don't want it, frankly.
I'm getting it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. But I mean, I have like how many Sarges now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I guess 7 because I got one is the torso and bottom of the 2 that I took apart. So I'm waiting to see what I can do with that to make another one. But Sergeant Slaughter seems to be the one I have the most of.
It's not to take away anything from the classified one, and like you said, because like I'm not getting it, I don't want it. But if people do want it, I don't care. That's their money; they can buy what they want. It's just I forget where I read this, but like someone was like taking the measurements of them and scaling them up from 112, and it's like the Sarge from Action Force would be about like 6'2" or 6'3" in real life because that's how tall he is.
Right.
But the classified one scales up and it's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's a little.
And I get it. The cartoon, he was like larger than life. Like he killed Nemesis Enforcer, I think it was, or not Nemesis Enforcer. He killed who was the guy with the wings? Was it Nemesis Enforcer?
The one with like a hawk or something?
No, it was the in the movie. One of the Cobra Law guys, one with the wings.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that was Nemesis.
I own the movie, but I haven't watched it enough times to know that. I kind of
try to forget it.
Well, I just that whole Cobra Law stuff was very out there. It was weird. I didn't mind like the outward. I know you're big into like the 90s Joes and stuff, and I had a lot of those. So, but my idea of G.I. Joe is they're special forces kind of people that have come together with, yes, the best military technology, but they're using the military technology going up against Mars Industries funding Cobra with the most futuristic cutting edge technology. And so the Joes are the underdogs, but their talent and their ability to fight is what makes them great. So they're using a amped up tank to fight against a hovering trouble bubble or something, you know? So that's just my view of what the best G.I. Joe is. Don't give G.I. Joe the special sci-fi weapons like this. The character sci-fi came out and I'm like, get this RoboCop ripoff out of this line. I need a military. I need camo. I need special forces, SAS, Rangers, these SEALs, these kind of people, the best of the best of the best coming together to fight an enemy that is overpowering them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes them the best.
I
And
got
when you got the Joes with the same kind of stuff, it's just I don't even mind the ninjas part of it. I think that I always thought that was cool. I mean, it always made sense to me. You know, you got someone who's trained with the best in military, but also trained his body to be a ninja or a taekwondo or any martial arts. You know, you're going to try to be the best you can be. And sometimes that means getting deep into the lore of that martial arts. So
Yep.
I like that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't give him a laser gun.
Right. Yeah. So, but Nemesis Enforcer was and it is the chat confirmed, but he was a large character and he like manhandled him and like, you make me sick, and tossed him down a cavern. So it's like, I get it. Like the cartoon is a bigger dude. So if that's what they're going after, then it's like, okay, I get it. Like that's why he would be large, but it's not my thing. So answering that question, to me, the best one is version 2 Sarge, but it just depends on what you're looking for. So, but speaking of that Cobra Law G.I. Joe thing, that movie was the first, like, other than the figures, that's the only thing I knew about G.I. Joe. I'd never seen the cartoon, never read a comic. Rented that movie from Blockbuster when I was like 11 or 12.
I watched the cartoon every morning before school.
Yeah.
Like that, I think it was that and Ghostbusters would come on. And on I think it was the Cartoon Express, I want to say. It was Cartoon Express, and then sit there and eat cereal and wait. And usually I think halfway through Ghostbusters, I would have to leave to go to the school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never got to finish the episodes, but I'm pretty sure I finished all the G.I. Joe ones because they come on before.
But yeah, so the Hall of Fame, speaking of 90s and G.I. Joe, is a Hall of Fame Cobra with the rubber hood. It was the only Cobra Commander that I knew, the 12-inch ones.
Right.
So when I saw
you said the 12-inch ones. I think I have those accessories. I don't have the figure, but I have with the rubber hooded mask.
Got the rubber mask, the hood.
Yeah. I have that, and I have like all the outfit stuff.
Yeah.
I got a big collection of that sometime, and I'm like, I have no idea what to do with this.
Nice.
These freaking wings. That's funny, Scuba.
Yeah, that's funny. But so that was the Cobra Commander that I knew growing up, had a hood. So when I saw the movie and he didn't have that, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? When he had the battle mask on, then Serpentor just what is, like, I was angry watching that movie because I didn't understand what was going on. Like,
now
characters I knew were there.
I didn't like Cobra Law, but I got Serpentor. I thought he was so cool. I remember getting that one for birthday one year and playing with that thing, putting it together. I loved that thing. That was so cool. So when they got the new one coming out, I was like, yes, please. I will take that. Yes. But like the Snake Man with the long tail and stuff, I was like, I had a chance to get him recently, and I was like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
A lot of other figures I won't. Yeah.
Yeah. There was I have Globulus. He just pretty much lays there because that's all he can do. But I'd seen someone, they took one of the it's like, what is it, like something hacks or something, or boss fight. They make like these snake
toy
people.
Hacks,
something like that. I don't know. It's like these snake people, and they make these gorgons. And people are like separating them and then using, because they come with like a bendy, like a tail that has like joints and stuff in it.
Right.
And they're taking that bottom half and sticking it on Globulus, so he actually has a usable tail. So I thought about doing that, but I don't want to give those people my money.
Yeah, their third party stuff. I find it so fascinating and some of the best stuff out there, but what you have to pay for it is like, I can't pay it unless I really, really want it. I don't know. Some of that third party stuff is I mean, way better. Like Michael always says, fans do the best work.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that costs a penny.
Yeah, I get it though. Like it's like because people have people have wanted to like commission me for customs and things like that or repairs and things like that, and I'm just like, I don't think you understand how much that's gonna cost. Like,
Yeah.
so, and it,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought about
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I thought about doing it at one point, like way back a few years ago, and what killed me on it immediately, there was this dude. In one of the Facebook groups was looking for a real specific figure. He needed 4 of them or something like that, but they were the Marvel Legends universe, like the 3 3/4 line. He needed 4
Right.
of a very specific figure, and I was like, oh, like there was a store like 2 blocks, 3 blocks down that had them on clearance for like $3, and they'd had them there for months. And I was like, hey, message him. I'm like, hey man, like there's a store I can go get them right now. They're like $3 a piece. Like I went there, took a picture. They had 3. They didn't have 4, but they had 3 of them. I was like, yeah, they're $3 a piece. And he's like, well, what can you do on them? I'm like, cost and shipping. Like, I'm not trying to make any money. And the where it was on base, so it was tax free. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's going to be $9 plus whatever it takes to ship them to you. And he was like, well, is that the best price you can do on that? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. We're done. I'm not doing anything ever again. So I was like,
Yeah.
he wanted me to, I was like, $9 plus shipping. I'm like, that's literally what it costs. Like some people would be like, yeah, I'll do, $5 a piece so they can make some money off of it. And he was wanting me to like spend my own money, basically give him the shit for free.
I tried collecting those when they came out. I got a box of them. I love the figures. They just kind of stopped. Some of them started getting. It's like they gave up. The quality just kind of went down.
Yeah, that
And
was
some of
Bobby. He took over that line when he was at Hasbro, and he was talking about like they started cutting back the articulation and all that. Like that was a decision made above him.
God, I hate that. They did that with Star Wars. They did that with the Marvel. And you're just like, articulation is the progression of the action figure. It's action.
Right.
The Star Wars figures, 5 POA figures are great because they were made in the 70s and they revolutionized the toy industry. But G.I. Joe stepped it up. You don't regress. You
Go
perfect
forward.
that.
Right.
I don't. You can collect you can collect a retro version of this, but your main line needs to have full articulation,
right?
At least to the point of that size.
No, I agree. That's why I think Mega Constructs is better than Lego, because their minifigs are fully articulated.
Oh, their minifigs! I got a collection in there of the Ninja Turtles. Of the Mega Constructs Ninja Turtles when they started making those, perfect. I mean, I don't really care about the blocks. I think Lego makes better blocks, like structures and stuff. But the figures themselves, I mean, they blow them out of the water. It's like a mini action figure. I mean, I would have the Motu Mega Constructs figures on display if I could afford the castle, But I mean, without the castle, I'm like, what's the point of putting these out?
I was really lucky. I was sending those to Michael French, the Motu Mega Construct stuff, because I saw a video on the castle and like all the stuff it can do and how it's like actually to scale for the figures and everything.
Just $300 is way too much.
Yeah, I was able to get it for him and send it to him when it was still like I think it was 120 or something because it was on clearance.
I never saw it on clearance.
Air quotes. Well, it was on Amazon with air quotes clearance because it was slash price. That. Yeah, so I was able to send that to him, and then like a few months later, it just skyrocketed.
Yeah, I only ever saw it at Toys R Us and on Amazon, but it was always high on Amazon, and so was the Technodrome. I wanted that, but I mean, again, another $300, and I think at one time it was like 200 and something. Now it's nearly 300 for both of them, and I'm like, do I need it? No. I'm like, it's like I was telling Michael, the Indiana Jones. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I have no Indiana Jones figures from the 80s. None of them, because I mean, if I can't, I mean, I could get them, but that's a lot of money to put towards the figure. I may one day, but the cost versus need, I'm just like, I can't see myself paying that much to collect that line. It's just so overpriced right now. So I've been collecting the 2008 one that he did a video on. I was collecting it before that, but I mean, he made that amazing video going through each and every set of that. And it's like, there were figures in there that I didn't even know they made. I was like, they made that? And you could put it in the store so I could buy it? All I ever saw was the freaking Indy 4 film.
Yeah.
This is my thing.
Let's see, that movie came out in 2008, I think it was. And that was like, or maybe it's 2007. Either way, it was like, I had just graduated from high school, like maybe the year before or like that summer. I don't remember when that movie came out. But I was like, this is right around the time that like all my toys were getting boxed up to quote go to the attic and all that kind of shit. And I remember seeing the toys and thinking like, if those I was in that spot where I was born too late to enjoy the Kenner Indiana Jones and born too early to enjoy the Hasbro Indiana Jones. So I had no Indiana Jones toys as a kid. So I just ran around with a jump rope in the backyard pretending it was a bullwhip.
Did the same thing. I would run around the yard with my friend Jimmy. We would run through his yard and we would take jump rope, throw it on a tree, and then jump like we were going across the cavern and going dun 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 everywhere we went, everywhere, and act like we were fighting Nazis and punching them. I don't know if I can say Nazi on YouTube, but oh well.
They're picky and choosy. A channel my size, they probably don't care. Either that or I'll be deleted, one of the two. Who gives a shit?
Whoops.
But the thing I remember the most, which lets you know, it's like, Sal, how did you become overweight? Well, the thing I remember is the Whopper that they had at Burger King. That it was their little tie-in, their little sandwich. That's what I remember. So, but I remember watching the movie and not hating it. Like I was like, okay, it's Indiana Jones. Like I'm fine with it. Who cares? But two of my friends from high school were there opening night with me, or not with me. They were in the theater, but we met up afterwards, and they were fuming, seething. They hated it, and I was like, what? I don't get it. What did you hate about it? Like, but I wasn't like a super mega fan. Like
I didn't hate it, but I had my three major issues with it. The fridge scene was just too over the top. You're like, really?
Yeah.
The second one was the swinging with the monkeys scene. I was like, eh. And then the third, the main problem I had with it was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, he dealt with the power of God. Temple of Doom, he dealt with the power of the Sankara stones. Last Crusade, it's the power of God again through
right, the Holy Grail.
To a Holy Grail. You never actually saw God.
Right.
You never saw the people they talked about. In Temple of Doom. I can't remember the I know Michael knows. Said it's in my tongue.
Yeah.
Who they worshipped. Kali Ma. Whatever
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, I get stuck in
the Warriors. That's all I know.
But then when you get to the Crystal Skull, you're actually seeing the damn aliens. I'm like, don't show me the aliens. Show me the power of the aliens. I don't need to see this alien form come and look down at him. I'm like, that's stupid. It looks goofy.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I see the problems now, like
yeah.
But it was like I also liked the prequels when they came out. Like, never hated the prequels. So
I don't hate the prequels. I have my problems with them, but I don't hate them. I mean, I collect the figures and stuff. I love the clone troopers and stuff. Love Darth Maul and everything. I mean, again, that could be a whole segment on what parts of that did not like about that. We could have a all day marathon on the prequels, but I don't hate them.
Yeah, that's kind of the hard part about these live streams is like
sequels. But I don't hate the prequels. I complain about the prequels, but I still will watch them.
Yeah, so it's like looking back at it now, like there are definite parts of that being the Crystal Skull, definite parts of that movie that I'm like, ugh, that's not very good. But at the time, I was like, I just didn't care. Like I hadn't refined my palate for movies at that point. I still, to put it in context, Rob Zombie's Halloween came out like a year later, and I loved that movie. So I hadn't quite refined my palate for movies at that point. I was just like, oh, movie.
Now he's doing the Monsters.
Yep, a movie
about trailer looked horrible.
Oh, I don't imagine how a movie about cheese could be entertaining, but
oh my god, I saw that trailer and I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah. I lost track of what we were saying. We went off from Rob Zombie.
It's hard for me. I do what I call rabbit holing. So I'll be like, get down and I segue, and then I forget where I was.
No, yeah, it's good. I do the same thing. It's like, remember that? Oh yeah, that. Oh, and it led to this. Yeah, I do that all the time.
So one game that I like to play is kind of one of the last. Well, actually, there's one more question, and then we'll go to the last segment.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm in no hurry. You're good. Don't feel like you gotta rush unless I'm boring, and then end the show quick. All right, you're losing subscribers. We're going down.
That's all right. It wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary for this channel. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back around here. But so I forget who I brought this up with. I think it was Scuba Pete was the first person I talked about this with. But the concept of bath toys, like bath time toys, and how, at least for me and a couple other people, it was like whatever toy you took to the bathtub lived in the bathtub. Like I had like a toy shark that never left the bathtub. It was always on the side of the tub.
Yes. I didn't. Okay, I took a lot of figures to the tub because I would have continue adventures there. But they would go back once they dried off. They would go back to the room. But I had a lot of like McDonald's toys, like Hook.
Oh
Hook. Yeah, I lived in the tub. They had like the Hook McDonald's boat with the little hook. Yeah, I played that. Was in the tub all the time. So I had a lot of stuff like that stayed in the tub. But action figure wise, I didn't really leave them in the tub. They would go with me. I'd play, and then there was like a special mission. Yeah,
right. So that's kind of a segue question from that I should have asked, which you elaborated on earlier about having like your cars that went everywhere. Was about like how some people would like.
I still got that car mat, by the way.
Nice. I think I had one of those, but I went through like a car phase for like one Christmas and got like a tray of like those generic cars from Walmart. and then was over it, and then got the car mat after that. So it was kind of like, all right, this is just a rug in my room now.
Yeah, this one's just old school rubber bottom with the like felt top.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's been through hell and it's still good. The corners are kind of bent up, so I need to like figure out how to iron those out to where they can
most of our corners are
lay
bent up
flat.
nowadays.
Now it's a floor mat in front of my Ninja Turtle display in the other room.
Hell yeah. But Keith Knight says, certainly not boring, Drew. He says, this is a great chat. Loving it. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
So, but you touched on it earlier. I was going to ask about, because some people like relegated themselves to a corner of a room or only their room, or they had like a spot in the backyard. But like how your playtime went, like did it stretch over multiple rooms, or did it like, because I know that's kind of what I would do. I would like build something up and like I would plan out what I'm going to do ahead of time. And I'd be like, okay, well, I have blocks downstairs, so I'll put blocks together real quick. That's going to be a building that gets knocked over, but you know, so I'd be doing something up in my room, and I'm like, all right, now I got to go down here, and then the blocks would be gone because my dad would be like, why, you know, I didn't know that's what you were doing, and I'm like, oh, no,
Cobra destroyed the base.
That's right.
Yes, I did that all the time. Like I said, I changed everything around. Like base of operations was the bedroom, obviously, but I mean, I would go into the living room, play on the couch. I'd go to the laundry room sometimes, but I was told to get out of there a lot. Mm-hmm. Outside, dirt mounds, ditches, little caverns. There was one house I lived in. I moved a lot, but there was one house that had we lived in a I don't know what you call it, a peninsula of a lake where where runoff would go into the lake, and then the lake would start. Well, the runoff area was like a little cliffs. Mm-hmm. So I would take my G.I. Joes down there and have like, you know, like they were in the Grand Canyon or something. Nice. I probably still have G.I. Joes at that house buried.
Yeah, for sure.
The dreadnoughts are in there somewhere, and including the motorcycle that I used to have. I used to play with that all the time out there. But I mean, I would turn on the water hose at a low level and make a creek through the dirt and stuff and play. And like I said before, I would take cars even outside and like it was like an aerial view of the action figure I was playing with in the car, driving along in the dirt, being chased by a helicopter or something from or like my mask figures, you know, they would play out there. You know, there was just so much options. I mean, I got a lot of figures muddy and dirty and
oh yeah,
and that way. But I mean, I played with my figures growing up. I wish I still had them, but
right. Yeah. As we all do. Like I think of all the things that I've repurchased as an adult that I know I had as a kid, and I'm like, I'd save myself so much money if I didn't get rid of those. But I wonder if I would still be interested in collecting toys if I still had all my vintage stuff, because it's like that's kind of what gets you back into it is you know, not to paraphrase or steal a phrase, but to reclaim those kind of things. Like I had this, I want it again.
It's like a memory. Like I said earlier, it's like that figure is a memory. You know, playing with you know, Terminator.
Oh yeah.
You know, this was one of my Terminators that I played with when I was little. It would pop open that skull. I've lost the bullet to it, but or the whatever. You know, I just use my imagination and play for hours doing that. One of my original Hook figures.
That's the Hook. Is that the one that has the sword in his wrist or something?
It did.
Okay, because that was brought up.
It out. It's broke, but the hook's still there, so it still looks good.
See that was brought up on my. It was either the versus battle live stream or the toy
I think you
tie-in
did.
live stream.
Because yeah.
I have the other hook where his legs don't move.
Right. I've got one of those in my eBay box, but I probably let it go. But yeah, the knife broke a long time ago.
Okay.
And I had the figure itself is the original. The weapons and stuff are from a new one. And I just put them on my old one so I could keep it. But I mean, these are some like the figures that I had as a child. Or when did those movies come out? I was probably a young teenager.
Yeah, Hook was 92, I want to say, maybe.
I was 11. Because that would have been those toys would have come out probably before the movie or around the movie, and I would have turned 12 in the fall, so I would have been 11 playing. So yeah. This is one I got. This was my uncle. He passed away about 2 years ago. When I was little. He's the one that took me to like flea markets and toy stores and stuff, and would buy, he'd buy stuff for me, and he would encourage me and talk to me about this kind of stuff. He was a bit of a nerd himself, but he always had this from his childhood sitting in his closet. When I go over and I go, "Can I see the figure? Can I see the figure?" And he'd pull it out of the closet, let me hold it. I'd sit there, and I was like, I couldn't play with it, but I could look at it and just admire the coolness of Spock. And so he died of cancer 2 years ago now. And day before he died, my mom was visiting him, and he handed it to my mom and said, "After I pass away, give it to him. I want him to have it." So this is my, I don't know if you were going to ask it or not, this is my most cherished figure in my whole collection because of that.
Yeah.
He needs a gun though, or phaser.
Right.
I'm missing the phaser. He had all the other weapons and stuff, but he needs that phaser. But it's the only Mego figure I got. Yeah.
And see, it's memories like that it's unfortunate that your uncle, passed away and all that, but it's like those stories kind of outweigh my mom gave all my shit to those fucking brats at the daycare. So
yeah,
it's a balance.
It is. It is. It's like I said, they all have memories. There's a lot of the stuff in here, especially vintage, is 99% stuff that I wanted as a kid. And now I have money and I can purchase it when I want, or it resembles something that I had as a kid. But these certain figures and stuff that have memory to them attached to them, whether it's something I actually have, like this right here. This book got me into comic books and loving superheroes. There's a box set of Superman, the story of Superman. Here
we go.
How Superman came to Earth. Here, I'll take them out of the box. How Superman came to Earth. When Superman was Superboy. Adventures of Super Baby, and Superman in Metropolis. And it was just a little storybook that is how I learned to read the books. They, how Superman became who he was, fighting Lex Luthor and stuff. First superhero I ever loved, Superman. Second would have been Spider-Man.
I wish.
And then Batman, because those are the ones that were on TV. It was before I was reading comics. I mean, that would have been my first comic. These aren't the ones I had as a kid. I found these later, because I always remembered them as being the definitive books. When I found them, I was like, I got to have those. Those are my childhood.
Yeah. I wish I had Superman. I had a book called Danny the Dinosaur and Too Much Popcorn.
Danny the Dinosaur. That's familiar. I don't
know if I might still have my copy. It might be in my bedroom, but I know I don't have too much
Dinosaur.
popcorn. That was like a
Remember
Baron
Denver.
off. So
Denver, the last dinosaur. No, different.
yeah. But so our final question, which is kind of like a game, I guess, but it's
I forgot about the game.
Yeah, it's how
Should
I
I have been prepared for this?
That's right. That's how I always tie off these episodes. So I have you pick a time of year and a number between 4 and 12.
4 and 12. Pick a year and a number.
A time of year, like summer, fall, spring, winter.
Say fall,
Mm-hmm.
and the number 9.
So it's what the average day looked like for you when you were 9 years old during the fall.
Oh, that's how this goes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's usually school starting back. 9 years old. That was in. I would have just turned 9, so that would have been 89. Oh, that was a good year. That was the Batman year.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was Batman. I just had a birthday, 9th birthday. That would have been all the awesome Toy Biz stuff I would have gotten.
Nice.
The Batwing, the Batmobile, this Batmobile, actually, the same one that I took. I have another one just like it. This is the one that goes under the cocoon now. So I only pull it out for purposes of because I wrote an X on it. I would have been going to school in the fall, watching the cartoons, coming home from school, watching more cartoons, playing with my toys in the room. Probably Batman. At that time, and Ninja Turtles. Really popular.
Until bedtime to do your spelling homework.
Oh, I was such a procrastinator.
Mm-hmm.
That was horrible. I was like, Mom, help me. I can't do it. She ended up writing my papers for me.
That's a good mom.
While I fell asleep. She would get so pissed at me. She was like, I wrote this paper and you didn't even stay up. You shouldn't have thrown my X-Wing away.
True. Very true. Well, that's I think 2.5 hours is a good stopping point. Normally these are about 90 minutes long, but I know it's a Friday night. People probably have things they want to go do or need to do, or maybe they've already done.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I know if I was in the chat, I would have been going, oh no, we could go for 4 hours. I love this.
yeah,
I don't know if they would. That's just the way I am. I'm like, no, don't end it yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's how I am, especially when I'm at work and I'm listening to like 3 POAs. I'm like, all right, I'm like, no, not yet. Like, I still have like 8 hours left at work.
I know, right? I'm like Michael come out with his live stream. So I'm like, no, don't open it yet. Don't open the boxes yet. Keep talking.
Yeah, because then it's
Or Tony's on a yeah. Closing time.
That's right. Well, Semisonic. Keith Knight says it's 2:30 a.m. for him on Saturday. Good Lord.
2:30 Saturday. Wow.
He is in the old kingdom.
You're in the future. That is awesome.
That's right.
I'll get there one day. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, our time travel is a little slower than his.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We'll get there.
But, once more, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram right now and Drew G's Toy Box. Twitter is Drew G Says or at Drew G Says. And if you feel like having faith, you can add me on YouTube. I believe it's just Drew G, but I don't have any videos yet. But I'm hoping to do a room tour or two on there soon. I just gotta film everything. I'm in the process of restructuring things. Had an epiphany last week and realized that I could actually utilize my space better if I flip some things around. And now I'm just trying to figure out where to put everything. So, toy collecting issues.
That's right.
But yeah, so if you have faith in me, add me on YouTube, and maybe I'll surprise you with a video.
Yep. I'm trying to see if I can find you real quick. Surprisingly, there's a lot of Drew G's on here. Now, let me add the period. Maybe that'll help.
Does it? I ain't even looked.
No. Yeah, I'll have to.
Try Drew G 809. See if that works.
Drew G 809.
I want to change that if that's what it is, but
let's see here. I know I can find you somehow, but no, I'm not finding you. I know how to get it, so I'll put it in the description for people later. But,
okay.
Oh, Timothy Ward's got it in the chat right there. So you can. The way to do it is if you're a moderator or if you're in the chat, you just click on the person's name in the chat and you can go to their channel that way. But I can't do it through StreamYard.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Timothy.
So
I didn't even know that.
Description later. So
yeah,
alrighty, people. Thank you everyone for coming out. So we've been
thank you for the invite.
Absolutely,
it was fun. First time on YouTube doing live. Hopefully not the last. Hopefully you're not like, good God, thank God that's over. That will never happen again.
The first time on YouTube, especially the first time live, is always the hardest, I find. Just because it's like you feel like Ricky Bobby, like I don't know what to do with my hands, kind of thing. But especially the first time you go live by yourself, you're like you don't have anyone to bounce off of, and you're like, oh,
right.
Someone peed in my pants. So, but all right, everyone, we'll see you next time.
All right.